So I'm Zack Moir and I am a composer and a lecturer in music, but I'm also a type 1 diabetic. And what I've been doing recently is trying to make music from my diabetes, which might sound like a bit of an odd thing to say. But the way that I've been doing it is by looking at data that's generated from some of the technology that I use to manage my diabetes. So I've got an insulin pump, which delivers insulin to my body. And actually what you can do with this is you can look at graphs that it generates about things like insulin use, blood sugar levels, food intake, all these type of things. And when I do look at these graphs, there's something in me that sees music in them, if you like. I'm looking at the rising and falling of graphs. I'm looking at some high placed dots, some low placed dots on these graphs. And I think just because of who I am and a musician, a composer, and I'm seeing these and I'm seeing music in them. So that coupled with the fact that when I'm using this technology and some of the various other bits and pieces of equipment that I use to manage my diabetes, there are very distinct sounds that come from each of these items. So be that a kind of beeping noise from a meter, or the sound of glass when you're extracting the insulin from the vial, for instance. So what I wanted to do is put these two things together. I wanted to use these sounds and I wanted to use the diabetes management data to create some music. So what I've done is I've looked at the month of January 2016, just because it was fairly close to when I had the idea. And what I've done is I've taken 4 key pieces of data, which is my blood sugar, my insulin that was delivered, the dose of insulin that I took. I've taken the amount of food that I've eaten and the total insulin that I've had in any given day. And I've mapped these to pitches, to musical pitches, to create music, if you like. The 4 streams of data run together. They are sonified. You hear the sounds that the data makes. You hear the rising, you hear the fall, and you hear the interaction of all these streams of data. But you hear them in a way that draws on the actual sounds that I'm using through a process of granular synthesis that I've used. So the concept of the piece is that there is a backdrop of these four data streams that coalesce, and we hear the interaction of all these sounds. And a soloist improvises over the top. And symbolically that's supposed to represent someone, a human living with this condition, dealing with all these pieces of data that are going around their head, thinking about the calculations they make, how much insulin do I take, how much food do I have, and improvising their way through a day, through a year, through life essentially with this unpleasant condition. So the result is a track that's about 15 minutes in length, and what it does is it sonifies the whole month of January 2016. I've improvised over the top of that as a saxophone player, and it's a kind of experimental avant-garde track that will hopefully give people listening to it just an impression, just from hearing the rising and fall and the interaction, the confusion that is generated in the music sometimes, but also the moments of tranquility that you hear in the music. It will hopefully give people an idea of what it's like to live with this condition. The track's made available for download and for streaming, so you can get it on Spotify, you can get it on iTunes, all the usual type of places if you like. And what I'm doing with any funds, any profits that have been made, is I'm going to donate that on an ongoing basis to Diabetes UK, which is the charity that deals with supporting research and supporting people living with diabetes in the UK. So the track's called IDDM, which is the acronym for insulin-dependent diabetes mellitus, which is the kind of medical name for diabetes, which is a bit of a play on words with the term IDM, intelligent dance music, a form of electronic music. So that's a pun to amuse myself more than anything else. But yeah, it's available. People can listen to it, people can stream it, people can buy it, and any profits raised will go to Diabetes UK.